All right, so now we're going to talk about component 3, which is area of a sector. So in component 1, we learned how to find the area of a circle, which is pi r squared. And now we're just going to find a part of the area. So instead of finding the area of the whole circle, I'm finding just this little section of the area. So our formula is going to be very similar to our arc length that we just learned. So area of a sector is going to be found by doing pi r squared times x degrees all over 360. So very similar to that of what we did before. Okay, so I'm actually going to skip example 1 and just go on to the bottom here. So we've got find the area of the shaded sector. So to find the area of the sector, we're going to do pi r squared times x degrees all over 360. So our r here is 4, so 4 is going to go in the r spot. Now 53 is in the shaded region, so we are going to use 53, plug that into our calculators, round, that's our answer. So just like before, we're going to use our fraction button, alpha y equals, we get pi times 4 squared times 53 all over 360, and we get 7.40. Okay, number 2, area of the sector is going to be pi r squared times x degrees all over 360. So r is 6. The degrees is in the shaded area, so 148. Plug that into our calculator. That's our answer. So alpha y equals pi times 6 squared times 148 all over 360 gives us 46.50. Okay, now number 3, area of the sector is equal to pi r squared x degrees all over 360. Now 11 is our r, but if we look, this 65 is not in the shaded region, so I'm not going to use 65. Circles are 360, so I'm going to have to subtract that 65 from 360. That gives us 295. That's what we're going to use here. This is 295 degrees. Now we're in the shaded area. So we get 311.50. Okay, now number 5 is asking us to go the opposite way. So we want to find x here, and x in this problem is the radius. So it's asking us to find the radius. So we know the formula is area of a sector is pi r squared times x degrees all over 360. Now we know the area is 128, so I'm going to put that in the area spot. So the area is 128. Now I don't know the radius, so that's going to have to stay x. 152 is in the shaded region, so I'm going to use 152 all over 360. Now just like in our last problem, the opposite of dividing by 360 is multiplying by 360. So that gets rid of that. So we get 128 times 360 gives us 46,080 equals 152 pi x squared. Just like before, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So we're going to divide by this 152 pi. Use that fraction button to divide there. So alpha y equals 46080 divided by 152 pi gives us 96.498 equals x squared. We learned in our last unit to get rid of a square, we use square root. So we're going to do the square root. Now we always want to use the whole decimal, so we're going to use this little up arrow here. See how it's now flashing on this? We're going to press enter and see how it moves that whole decimal underneath there. That gives us x equals 9.82. Okay, let's do number 6, same type of problem. So in number 6, we know the area of the sector is 174.2. Pi, I don't know the radius, it's saying find the length of the radius, so x squared times 165 all over 360. So what's our first step? Our first step is to get rid of the fraction by multiplying by 360. Opposite of multiply is divide. So we're going to divide by 165 pi. We get 120.98 equals x squared, square root each side. Now remember, to get that perfect answer, we're going to do the square root. We're going to go up and grab that. Now we got that whole decimal in there. We get 10.999, which is going to just round up to 11. Okay, I would like you guys to try number 7 and check the answer on the answer key.